Good morning, everybody. It's a little after 10 o'clock on the 29th of September 2020. It's a Tuesday. Let's turn that audio down just a little bit. And what I wanted to talk to today was a couple, they used to be top secret, but they were released by the government. This one was released in 2011, talking about astral projection. We're also going to talk about what's called the Gateway Project. If you notice in some of my videos, let's pull up my channel real quick. Alright, so in some of these videos that I've made, let's pull all of them up real fast. I discussed that, especially here in the beginning, lesson 1 in this 2020 lessons, I explained that you are the source. You are God. We all are. And we manifest this reality. Our mind, first our emotions, then our thoughts, then our physical actions. That's the order of operations. You have a desire in your heart. You want to create. And then you think about how you're going to create that. And then you take physical action to make that so. Well, the reason I'm showing you this is because you need a lot of times people need more proof, especially if you're far off from what I'm sharing here. You know, you've really been stuck in the matrix and you believe that everything's physical matter and that's it, and particles floating around making noise, which there's a lot of people out there that believe that, and I see it. I see why, because of how elaborate and how much money's been spent to convince us of this, and the monumental effort to help us forget our true power. So I speak about this in essentially all my videos, really, because it's the source of everything. But this is just showing some of those people who are more inclined to believe a so-called official document or government opinion or mainstream news opinion without, looking into it themselves. They just want to see what the authorities are telling us. Who someone that's smarter than us, we assume, which nobody's smarter than you. None of us are. I'm not smarter than you. You're not smarter than me. We all have access to infinite information. The only difference is who's choosing to utilize that information and how. That's the difference. There is no difference in who has more information. Nobody does. There are people who learn how, remember how to access information, and those that do not. So this was declassified in 2003. It was written in 83, 2 years before I came back to this earth. What it's describing, we're not going to read the whole thing, but basically they're touching on, let's see if highlight will work. Highlight doesn't want to work. You can draw. That'll be fun. There we go. So basically it's talking about hypnosis right here, biofeedback, which is muscle testing, transcendental meditation, which is meditation. It's meditation, basically. So these are official documents. They were declassified. Wayne McDonnell, Lieutenant Commander, was the who wrote this top section. We'll get down to the rest. He may have wrote the whole thing. I'm not exactly sure yet. They call it the Gateway Experiment, but they're basically working with consciousness. They're studying remote viewing. They're studying remote healing and healing yourself. So there are people who do this, and it's not a question if. The question is, do you want to figure it out for yourself and learn how to do it? It is possible for you to help somebody else heal remotely with your emotions and your thoughts. It is also possible for you to do that right there in person if you're right next to the person. But ultimately what is happening is, say somebody was injured and I was producing a conducive environment for them to heal. I was saying remote healing, helping you heal. Ultimately what I'm doing is opening up energetic channels for you to do the healing, your body, your conscious mind. So when you believe that I am actually, or someone else outside of you is healing you, number one, that's wrong. because they're not doing it, they're providing a conducive environment for you to do it for yourself. But number two, by believing that they're doing it, you're kind of shorting, what's a better way of putting that? You're doing it yourself, but being convinced that somebody else is doing it for you. So you already had it, you know how, but you just doubt. And this document here is explaining why and how it happens. It's literally, our bodies are designed naturally for this. That's actually very interesting. I need to look at what they're doing there. It's explaining what parts of the bodies are affected by the brain. But let's go to, there's a section here. So Kundalini, psychosis, and transcendental states that the standing acoustical waves are the result of the altered rhythm of the heart sounds, which are occasioned by prolonged practice of meditation, and which set up sympathetic vibrations in the walls of the fluid-filled cavities which comprise the third and lateral ventricles of the brain. So basically what they're saying here is, your heart, by holding an emotion, a desire, a belief, I am healthy, I am abundant, I am confident, I am comfortable, and you feel it in your heart, you are then sending a pulse of energy to your brain, which will then stimulate the brain, and your third ventricle right here, this area here, is actually changing its vibration. It's a fluid-filled cavity. We're going to get into, actually let's pull up the board while we're here. So I didn't get into this yet. I'd like to share one of Santos Bonacci's videos, but basically the true teachings of Christ were explaining that you are the temple. Your body is the temple. So your body is literally secreting fluids in your brain up here, and it comes down. You have a germination cell in your solar plexus, which actually that wouldn't be the solar plexus right there. It would be a little lower. Once that seed goes down to Bethlehem and stays there for a moment and rises back up. I'm being really brief here. I'm not getting into this deep, so don't look at this and say, oh, that's how it works. Look at this as, oh, there's something more I need to dig into. So the idea is basically you have oil, sacred oil in your spine, your cerebrospinal fluid in your brain, in the bottom of your spine, your solar plexus region. All this system is connected. All these connect to your nervous system. So when this seed, this fruit of the tree of life, is born in the solar plexus, the manger it says here, when that happens, it is tested. The oil is tested based on what you eat, what you think, what you feel. So this is why all these teachings are explaining the 10 Commandments, everything about being a good person, living in harmony with nature, eating plants instead of carcass, staying away from sin, pretty much. Lust, overindulgence, anger, violent, hate, things like that. All of those are acidic, and they will damage the oil running through the cerebrospinal fluid. They taint the oil. And when that happens, you're not... Wow, I didn't mean to do that, but when I went back too far, yeah, this is essentially what happens. When you taint that oil too much, you end up like some of these egos that are out of balance. And I didn't mean to come over here, but that's pretty funny that it did that for me. So this is the disharmonious side of the board that we're working on. We're not getting into today. But essentially that's what happens when you damage or taint the oil by war, violence, acidic living. Same thing with the blood. We talked about this in my last video with water. Your water is vibrating at a certain frequency, at a certain pH. It has a certain amount of electrical charge. You want 7.35. Let's write that again. 7.35 to 7.45 hertz, which is minus 20 millivolts. That's not how you abbreviate millivolts, but you guys got it. sloppy, but you understand what I'm saying. So your blood works this way, your water of your whole body works this way, right? We figured this out yesterday in the video I posted. So why would it be different for your brain, your spinal fluid? It's the same. So we have life coming down, death down here, and then rebirth. That is the oil. That's what I'm speaking of. So when, see all these nerve endings here? This is actually a good diagram for this. So all of these nerves branching off, all these beautiful nerves are sensory. That not only do they help you direct your body, move your arm, your legs, your lungs, your heart, whatever, but it's also pulling information in of what's going on, so you can sense things and feel things. But not only that, on a spiritual, a higher level, the more important level, in my opinion, it's getting feedback of how you're living. So if these show up here, if these arms are doing things unharmoniously, you're gonna have issue right here. If you're eating foods in the front of your body that comes from your belly over to here and directly from the belly to the back of the spine, if you're eating foods that are no good for you and it's acidic and it's damaging, and drinking fluids that are no good, they go in your belly, the nerves in this area feel that. They pick that up and they bring it to the spine. That's where it tries the oil. If that oil, if that food you're eating, if you're eating like carcasses of an animal, dead animal, that is going to this oil that's traveling up and down your spine. Those nerve signals are sending electrical charge. If that charge is too intense because you ate something that was too intense for your body, it is going to stress out this oil and damage it. And then that oil it's time to shed that oil for that month. Every month, they say 13 times a year. I know there's 12 months in a year, we're told. We'll get into that another day. But I've heard it's 13 times a year we have this opportunity. When the moon is in your sun sign, so you can get in astrology. We'll get into that another video too, because it'll get a lot deeper than what we're going into right now. But when the moon is in your sun sign, your solar plexus produces that germ, that seed. I don't want to call it germ, but a seed. And then that seed is tested and tried as it goes. It travels down here and then back up. It's going to be affected by all of these nerve branches, which are recording all of your actions, all your food, all your environmental stimuli, the anger, the aggression. If this oil, that seed that's traveling down here, spends some time down here and then travels back up here to the brain, to the land of milk and honey, if at any time during that month these nerves send back some shocking results of, holy cow, this guy just, punched a wall because he was angry, or hurt somebody, or ate some carcass of an animal that was killed and was stressed and lived an unharmonious life and fed toxic food, those vibrations are going to hit this oil and damage the oil, and then it will not rise to where you want it, to the brain. Now, why do we want that oil to rise and and reach the brain and not be damaged before it does? Well, that relates to this, your chakra system. Do you want your aura to be charged in harmony, or do you want it to be all broken up and out of balance? So dis-ease or ease, what do you want to be in? Do you want to be resonating like this, creating a beautiful field around you, manifesting your reality? You're already manifesting your reality, and you already have it fueled. How nice it looks and how well it works is up to us how we live. So all the ancient teachings, Michelangelo, Leonardo, all these, Da Vinci did this. It's the Bible, all these ancient teachings, it's about your spirit, your soul, and your body, and how to use them. Like they say, that people say there's no book on parenting, there's no book on the body, there's no book on how to live. Yeah, there are. They're being suppressed, and they're being hidden from us. Here's a quick example from, I'm not saying just a meme somebody posted, but everyone listen up. I messed up the human immune system. I'm going to need you all to inject foreign materials into your bodies with needles around 1900 years from now. That's the ignorance of this system brought on by people like this who know the truth but don't want the masses to know the truth, because if the masses know the truth, we no longer need anyone to control us. We don't need government. What does government mean? Let's look at the word. Govern. What's the word govern mean? Well, actually, we could just pull this up right now. I think I pull up govern. I want govern. Conduct the policy, actions, affairs, control, influence, or regulate a person, action, or course of events. Conduct oneself, especially with regard to controlling one's emotions. I will require that. There's more. What does the govern? Direct and control as the actions of conduct of men, either by established laws or. So govern, they're saying it's to control. Now, if you look at a governor on an engine, I feel like this music's a little loud. So the word govern means to control. Also, if you have a governor on a car, on an engine, or if you ever driven your car really fast and all of a sudden it slows down automatically because it ran too fast, that is the governor on the engine. Your governor is to control. Or also another word for it is limit. To govern. The governor on the engine is limiting the engine. What's meant mean? That's an abbreviation for mentality. Mental. Thought. So it's literally designed to control your thoughts, control your emotions, control you. If you need controlled, you are a animal. What animals are? I mean, honestly, no. Even animals don't need controlled in this world. But the way out of balance egos, I'm not judging anybody, but all of these people on here are clearly out of, doing things because they think they have the right to rule others because they think they're better. And that's completely inaccurate. That's not how it works. They also know the secrets of your body. They know. Where's it at? They know about this. They know about your cerebrospinal fluid. Let's read this. The sacred secretion of cerebrospinal fluid, the Christ within. The anointing is the secretion and a substance once named chrism, the origin of the word Christ being anointing or anointed. The Christ within us all is born in the sacral plexus, sacred place, where the 5 fused vertebrae of the spine meet. The Christ seed is born here and begins its journey up the 33 vertebrae to be crucified, amplified in power. When it meets the pituitary and pineal after spending 3 days in the hypothalamus, the tomb, it creates a circuit causing the secretion of DMT, honey, and serotonin milk, the land of milk and honey. When the seed and oil is preserved and returned from, not from living out of balance, you in short reach the promised land and become a perfect antenna for prayer. You walk through the gates of nirvana. You essentially create heaven on earth. It's looking real close here. See all this blue? That is where you can activate dormant brain cells. Now, let's pull up a quick Santos Bonacci. These are just some of the videos. Let me see. MrAstrotheology. That's a good one right there. I'm not going to play it because I don't know. Yeah, we don't even want to see those people. Oh, I closed the wrong one. But this video is one of the many that he's made. I re-upload my videos on YouTube. Please always link me. I'm going to link you anyway, Santos. So we're just going to let that play through, and then we'll start it back up in a moment. Let's get that music back too. That was nice. After we get these liars out of the way. So Santos explains this in greater detail in many, many videos. I'm still learning, but this is for me to give you guys a quick
the bottom of the head
example.
and reveal to you today, which I'm going to reveal to you today, is the secret of the Christ within, not without, the Christ in you, and that's this Christ. You see, there are 33 bones along here, and when you get to the last one and you cross the medulla oblongata here in the bottom, at the bottom of the head, and here are the 12 cranial nerves. When you get to the 33rd bone where the Christ is crucified, he gets crucified at this cross here. See, this is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the nerve that goes through your body. It's vagrant. It just wanders around through the body, feeding the heart, the liver, the spleen.
I'd like to show you guys a better video
and then it returns all the fluid back
of how he describes it.
Aries.
So basically what we have is your spine, your brain is the feedback center. It's the command center. Your heart and your mind manifest this reality. Your emotions here, and they send energy up your spine to your brain, and your brain back and forth. This is the command center. This is what is manifesting everything. So your torus field up here, this torus is being created around your body and around everything else, but that's what creates everything else. So by learning how it works and then perfecting it here in your body, you will be able to manifest whatever you want, and you will be able to manifest in harmony and health. You will be literally able to heal your body by thought. And that brings us back to the right here, Gateway Project. So biofeedback, the third conscious altering methodology, which will be briefly described as biofeedback. Biofeedback is somewhat unique in that it actually employs the self-cognitive powers of the left hemisphere to gain access to such areas of the right brain as the lower cerebral, motor, and sensory cortices, and assorted pain or pleasure centers. So what they're saying here is you literally have a way to, one of them is using Kundalini energy. I mean, it's all using Kundalini energy, but using your brain in specific hertz, 4 to 7 hertz, which is cycles per second, is for protracted periods of time may achieve the same effect. So meditation, what they're saying is when you're in meditation, you are creating a conducive environment in your body for your heart to resonate at a certain frequency, which creates a resonance in your brain. When that happens in your brain, your body is literally in tune with the universe. You can pull in information from around us. There's an infinite ocean of knowledge within us and around us. This brain is an antenna. This isn't what creates how do I put this? Mainstream has it reversed. They're saying that your thoughts and everything have to, come from here only. But it's actually a field. This is an antenna picking up a field of information around you. Now, your heart and mind together are manifesting this reality, absolutely. But you are pulling information from reality that you are co-manifesting, because you're not alone here. You are a source. So everyone out there is one of you, and they're all broadcasting information out into the ether. So we'll go down here. And this literally gets into some really deep stuff, but there's an image I want to show you. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. What's that look like to you? Diagram of the cosmic egg. Simple torus right there. So even they're talking about the torus. And this was in 83. This was 2 years before I came back. Here's a torus that they're creating. Now, that's interesting, because I'm going to pull this one up. I actually drew one. This is how I was seeing creation. So it's a torus flow. This is just my thoughts, just putting stuff out there. But this is the destructive side. This is the creative side. So you have two halves of the same torus. Here's another example. This is heart-centeredness. So I was looking at this as, are you more mental and outward, or are you inward heart emotion and then creating with your mind? So we have two different aspects to look at, and I'll get in those in other videos, but I'm actually looking for a drawing I made. I don't think I made it on here. It must be actually drawn out on a notepad I have somewhere. But I drew this to a point and explained it like they're doing, but in a different way. Galactic North or Galaxy Galactic South, yeah. It's somewhat different than what they're drawing here, but it's the same idea. So we're all on the same page, but unfortunately that just caught my energy bar tool magic wands. But unfortunately there are people who are trying to mislead us from this information purposely. I showed you some of those on this side of the board. This guy's actually a good guy. Every vaccine is contaminated. I have stopped immunizations for myself. Scientist Stephen Franz, pathobiologist and environmental consultant. So here's just some more things. We are being surrounded by things that are poisoning us. Surrounded by things that are poisoning us. Yeah, it's just all these ingredients. Those are the only physicians that believe you can get away with leaving dead tissue in the body. One root canal tooth can shut down 63% of your immune system. How many root canals have we had? I've had all my wisdom teeth pulled out because they said they had to come out the way they were growing. And these are the same people I'm talking about. I don't even want to show that. That's horrible. But these people have literally massacred people throughout the centuries, and the goal is ego, to keep the people who know better down. They can't, but they try hard. When you are in your power, when you know you are source, none of this stuff can affect you. You are literally manifesting abundance and harmony around you at all times, and then all that stuff off to the side goes away. So the reason I'm getting into this is because this document is showing us color breathing. I don't even know about color breathing. I'm going to have to look into that one. It's showing us that the government did this stuff. They researched this stuff back in 83. They know for a fact that it works, and they've been doing it ever since. And I passed up the where's it at? The remote viewing one, right here. This technique provides amplification for application of the energy bar tool as a means of healing specific areas or systems of the human body. The configuration of the participant's body is imagined, and then the various major systems, such as the nervous and circulatory systems, are envisaged in appropriate colors within the confines of the outline, being held in the imagination. The energy bar tool is then applied to energizing, balancing, and healing in whatever manner the participant desires. In the process, the participant visualizes various streams of colored energy flowing out of the tool into the organ system or area upon which the revitalizing or healing application is being made. Since colors are the result of different wavelengths of light, which is to say energy at various frequencies, all of it is energy vibrating, this technique operates on the assumption that as the human body is composed of energy, it can be vitalized and healed through the additive application of additional energy, provided that the energy is applied in the appropriate form. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys have proved everything I've been trying to say right here. And I don't need the proof, but this is for people who doubt and don't understand it, and they believe the government, they believe the military, they believe their politicians on TV, etc., etc. Well, here's proof out of the horse's mouth. Remote viewing, in addition to the energy bar tool. So energy bar tool, I didn't read that part, but I'm assuming what they mean. I don't like assuming things, but I know for a fact that I have friends with them. I don't have one personally, but in ancient Egypt, we would use gold, copper, quartz crystal bars, and we would hold them in our hands and use that to channel energy throughout our body. And like they said here, imagine colors, light, energy. It doesn't really matter exactly how you imagine it, as long as the goal, the outcome is your body being healed. That's the goal. However path you want to take to get there in terms of, I need this light color, and that frequency with this sound, it's all doing the same thing. It's your mind and your heart are open to the fact that you can do that. You can heal. Once that's active, once you know that you can, it doesn't matter how you imagine it, it's going to heal or do worse. With great power comes great responsibility. So knowing that you can heal, you would want to take accountability for your thoughts, your actions, your voice. You know, when people say they can't do something, or like my dad would always tell me growing up, can't means won't. And I don't even know if he was aware of the wisdom in that quick phrase, because it's, yeah, if you say you can't do something, you're not going to do it. But if you know you can, say you can do it, you're going to do it, whatever it is. So we have infinite potential. And that was some Mr. Wittisms for you for the day. He's got a lot of them. We'll pepper some of them in the next couple of videos. Remote viewing. So remote viewing, in this context, the participant turns his bar of energy into a whirling vortex through which he sends his imagination in search of new and illuminating insights. The apparent purpose of the symbolism involved in the vortex seems to be to cue the subconscious and convey it to instruct as to what the participant wishes to do, but in terms of nonverbal symbols, which the right hemisphere of the mind is capable of understanding. So there are mental tools that we can create. If you go to giving voice to the wisdom of the ages. Oh, right here. This channel is amazing. I highly recommend it to everybody if you want to really heal and work on it. We worked on this together. He posted this, and I shared it with everybody in my channel. And we actually saw after this, I'm not sure if this is the exact one, but we did a meditation test 5 months ago. I think that was it. But the night everyone set their mind to do a meditation. This was global. This wasn't just giving voice to the wisdom of the ages in my channel. We both did it, but everybody around the world, a lot of people around the world were aware of the time and space, the energetic alignment that we have access to, and we decided to utilize that to raise the vibration of the earth and consciousness. And the next morning I checked the Schumann resonance, and it skyrocketed right when we started that meditation globally. So I'm not, again, when I say we, I mean consciousness. I don't mean, giving voice to the Barry here that does this channel and myself. I mean consciousness. There are people in India that I didn't even know about or we don't talk to that is doing this. There's, you know, a lot of people. And you can literally, we literally affected the Schumann resonance, in my opinion, that day. And I'd love to have made a video about the after effect. But we can look back. You could just look up the date and look up the date of the Schumann resonance, and you'll see the peak. Excuse me. And it happened at the same time, so it was very interesting. But this book right here, The Way of Mastery, book 1, The Way of the Heart, incredible book. Incredible. I want to listen to it again, but there's so many I'm reading and listening to right now. I don't want to get back into another one at the moment. But unbelievable information. It's from the heart. It's from source. I feel it's from source. Everything's from source, but it's not ego driven like a lot of things. It's from source, and it's absolutely worth your time and effort to look into it. Okay. I think we've gone on a little long for this video, but with this kind of information, there is never enough time to just, you know, it's an infinite story. I mean, if you even look here with psilocybin, mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms being utilized all throughout history to help us activate these calm environments in our body. It's a tool to calm your body down. So right now we live in a world that tells us that these are bad and dangerous, but at the same time they build their buildings showing them for us to look at. And they say, oh, that's not good. Yeah, it is good. It's actually helping you see this illusion for what it is and connect with your heart. This is
Dear Father,
saying Christ
Mother,
is actually
God, life.
I'll turn that off for a minute. Christ is being represented as a mushroom here. And this is on a church window. And this man, Joseph maybe, or I don't know who this is, seeking information from Christ through a mushroom. Mushroom. Mushrooms. It's been said, and I believe this is accurate, the original Eucharist in Christianity, mushrooms, acacia tree, DMT. These are plants that produce what our bodies produce, but when we're living in an environment that, you know, right now, I don't even know if this is, I use this for a representation of the grid lines of the earth, but this is also, I could use this as how static and how much energy is being broadcast, around the whole planet. I mean, television alone, it's incredible. And here's a visual representation of pyramids. This is in a lab. They used a pyramid shape to check the information, the energy, what it happens. So these are what we see here are scalar waves that are around the earth at all times. This pyramid is actually structuring Earth's energy and altering these energies around it. So it's making the environment more conducive. So energy is very important. And we have a lot going on. So I'll end the video there, but please look into Santos Bonacci, Giving Voice to the Wisdom of the Ages, MrAstrotheology. Unbelievable work here for this man, brilliant man. And then if you'd like, check out more of my videos in the past that I've been talking about this, and I'm getting deeper into it now. But my goal is just to provide a reflection for those who would like to find their way home. So I will leave you guys with that for now, and I'll talk to you in the next video. I love you all. Be well.